Libra, hello, Amanda here. Welcome to Unseen Hands Healing. This is going to be your shift reading for the month of April. So we're looking at the shape you are shifting out of, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shape shift looks and feels like for you. So, Libra, before I get into cards, as I was meditating on your energy, I saw this visual of a lion growing to massive proportions and walking the earth. Very regal, majestic, stoic, not roaring, not aggressive, just deep, carrying a deep, shining power, and peacefully, gently, but with great authority walking the earth. It sort of felt like an image out of C.S. Lewis's The Chronicles of Narnia, for those of you who are familiar with that. So, not sure how that's going to tie in yet. We'll find out. I gotta say this before we go to cards. Libra, I've brought a card into this April shift reading for you. That is the card that came out in the global pandemic collective reading that I did. So if you haven't watched that, at some point I recommend going a few videos back and you'll see very clearly marked the global pandemic collective reading. And in the Libra portion of that reading, the card that came out from the Mary L. Tarot as your guide was the Death card. And this card signifies larger processes of transformation. These like larger sort of a zoomed out look at the larger cycles at play, especially during this time of like major change and major global crisis and panic and upheaval and upset and devastation. Really, this death process is looking at cycles of endings and beginnings, cycles of death and rebirth that are inherent in the natural, organic cycles of life and are absolutely at work here. So the fact that that lion sort of grew to massive proportions and began to walk the earth showed me this like larger force or larger power, almost like a connection with a higher power, something larger than us at work. Something larger than us, death, right? A force much greater than us, and yet very much a part of us. Intrinsic to who we are, intrinsic to our human nature is mortality, is this concept of death, rebirth, this cycle that we're all in at all times. Not just during times of crisis, but absolutely applicable during those times as well. So something about that here. I've pulled out that card to be part of the guide through April, because in this April shift, we are very much in the thick of this energy dealing with COVID-19. Okay, let's go to the Spolia Tarot here. I'm going to give you a couple shuffles and we're going to ask, what is the shape Libra is shifting out of in April? Okay, what is the shape that Libra is shifting out of in the month of April? Woo! Okay, shifting out of the Page of Wands. I will say the air card flipped out second. I'll show it to you, but I'm gonna put it back in the deck. I don't think it needs to be out here. Although I'm getting this image. I always say that. This happened in the Virgo reading too, and then it's like, maybe it does need to be out here. I think it does, actually. Rude of me to doubt the cards, isn't it? So presumptuous. So we're seeing this like massive, everything's on fire. And you know, with COVID dropping on the scene here, it has kind of blown up our worlds. It has felt like it's like set everything on fire, you know, like everything, the energy is just absolutely ablaze. And things are, it's like a fire raging out of control. And I said this in another reading, I think it was the Gemini reading. This phrase, spreads like wildfire, can be applied to this virus. And here we see it. This thing just going out of control, way beyond our control, spreading like wildfire. And I'm seeing this fire creating all of this smoke, clouds of smoke. It feels to me, Libra, like you're waiting for the air to clear. You're waiting for the air to clear in some way. Okay, here in April, let's see. For like the flames to die down and the smoke to go away. Let's see, what is the shape Libra is shifting into in the month of April? Too many cards. Although, talk about it. There's that Leo energy. That's who I saw walking the earth. That lion. Whoa. Okay, let's give it another shuffle. Look, more fire energy. Okay. What is the shape that Libra is shifting into in the month of April? Okay, what do we got? The Page of Cups. The Page of Cups, you know, pages are messengers, and we're seeing a mermaid in a cave. Swimming down into the depths of the cave to listen to what may be trying to grow and sprout. She's holding these two flowers. It is a card of listening. Listening to inner intuitive emotional messages. I'm not sure what this is about yet, Libra. Let's get more cards. What does the shapeshift look and feel like for Libra? Leo energy. That lion. What does the shapeshift look and feel like for Libra in the month of April? There's the Death card again. You have gotten it twice now. Look at that. Major transformation, major cycles of life happening here. Okay. And yet, rebirth. Okay. We've got the Hierophant, Death, and I'll just show it to you, the Ace of Cups. There's like this, you know, the Death is holding the hourglass. And it makes me think of, my mom watched a lot of Days of Our Lives when I was coming up, so I'm like hearing like sands in the hourglass. So are the days of our lives. Hi, Mom. Okay, so it's like, that is death energy, like sands in the hourglass. So are the days of our lives, you know? And so we're seeing that here. The arrow and the way Death is looking, they're both looking over here at the Hierophant. And the Hierophant speaks to me of rising up. See the fingers pointing up here to a higher power. Hierophant, higher power. This, and what we're seeing here is like a priest or a pope figure, some sort of channel that connects between heaven and earth. And look, check the fish on its back, and then we have the fish half fish, half human, half fish, half human here in the Page of Cups, that imagery. It's something about like, and fish for me is talking about water energy. There's this emotional, intuitive connection within you that is connecting you to the higher perspective, like almost like the view from the heavens. The higher perspective on what's going on here with everything that's happening globally and in our own personal lives. Maybe that's what this air card is saying, getting the higher perspective. It's interesting too, because the way this collage has been created, you don't know which way is up or which way is down. You know, it's like everything, the world has been turned topsy-turvy and sideways. And so you're having to zoom way out to get any kind of clear, fresh air or fresh perspective. Because everything, when you're down in it, everything feels like this. You know, we're getting like we're experiencing really intense stuff down here right now on Earth, down here on Earth. And this feels like the earthly experience of this. And there's like a part of you, Libra, that is able to swim down to the depths and connect with that like emotional, intuitive energy that then, you know, connected to that, you rise up and you can see the larger cycles, the larger perspective of what's going on. And we got the Ace of Cups as part of this journey. Again, the bird can spread its wings and fly up to a higher height. And that seems to be giving you like a sense of emotional refreshment. That's what happens with the Ace of Cups. Aces talk about brand new energy, brand new potential. And in the cup suit is talking about emotions. And so there's like so much potential overflowing for your heart, for your spirit, for your like intuitive emotional connections. There seems to be this like, you know, it's the water that can put out the fire. See that? The overflow of joy and heart energy that can put out the intensity, the intense emotional experience that of like complete overwhelm that this Page of Wands is showing. I love that your shift here, Libra, is from one page to another. From the page that is like right in the thick of the fire to the page that can swim down to the peaceful stillness, quiet darkness in the depths of the cave. And understand the deeper and higher perspective of what's going on here. Interesting. So I'm not sure where exactly that's taking you, Libra, or what exactly that's offering you. We're going to keep pulling cards here in an extended reading and see if we can flesh this out a little bit more and see what specifically this reading is trying to say. Okay, so we'll get to that in a moment. But first, before we go, let's get you a Botanical Tarot here. This beautiful deck by Kevin J. Stanton. Oh, look, more Leo energy at the bottom of the deck. That sunflower power, fire power, lion power. Okay, so this deck shows all plants, flowers, botanicals, and as all of the structures that we have built and formed our reality on and relied on are beginning to crumble in the face of this force that is much greater than us. I keep imagining, now that we find ourselves here in spring, the plants and the new growth continuing to shoot up and sprout up through the wreckage, through the rubble. And so I think that image is really useful, and I'm going to use it for you here, Libra, and ask, what new growth, new life is sprouting up through the wreckage at this time? Ooh, okay, lover's energy. These peony flowers. Wow, okay, so I'm seeing this as rising up out of the intensity of the experience. Maybe Libra, you are experiencing a lot of emotions around what's happening right now. Maybe you are being so directly affected by this virus in a way that like your world just feels like it's been in the line of fire, you know, like everything's just blazing out of control. Maybe you're experiencing panic. Maybe you're experiencing things like this, that like wildfire energy is showing. And this is sort of like you rising up, like a part of your spirit almost, I'm seeing as this other flower rising up out of that. And that's the Hierophant. That's this like rising up to get a higher perspective, to get sort of like a heavenly gaze. That's this air card as well. A higher spiritual perspective on what might be happening. That's how I'm seeing this Lover's card. That's not a traditional interpretation. That's what's coming through the card for me. Rising up out of the earthly experience to get a different perspective. Great. Okay. Listen, Libra, I'm going to take this into an extended reading now where we're going to hopefully get some more specifics on what this energy is really meaning for you. So if you're interested in that, stick around. There will be a preview of what we get into in the extended at the end of this video, so you can make sure it's resonating with you. If it is, and you'd like to view the extended, click the link in the description box below, and that will take you over to Patreon. Patreon is a community online that I've created for folks who are interested in diving deeper into this work with me, okay? So if that sounds like you, head over there. Please read the full description when you get over to Patreon so you know how it works. And at the most affordable tier of patronage, you can view this extended reading. Okay, so maybe I'll see you over there in the extended and we will dive deeper. But regardless, Libra, thanks so much for watching. And please know that at this time, as we are all experiencing we're all experiencing different levels of intensity with this pandemic. I am offering 10% off of all personal readings at this time. So please do get in touch with me if you are seeking personal guidance. All right, Libra, talk to you soon. Take care. And down here you can see it. It's like certain flowers are withering, certain fruits are molding so that the soil can be enriched by the compost of this death process, and new sprouts can begin to bloom. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. The priestess is watching this flower wither, watching certain things begin to die away. And here's a butterfly showing transformation, and the veil, the curtain, is being pulled back to reveal a scene in the distance, which is essentially showing me that by looking at this cycle of life and death, what is currently dying away, what is currently leaving our lives, it's like life before COVID-19 and life after. You know, there's a lot that is going to change and transform through this pandemic, and there's a lot about our previous way of life that just isn't going to be possible anymore, in my opinion. And so it's like that's what the priestess is looking at. But that square look at this transformative process is what's pulling back the curtain to see the larger perspective.